Well, welcome back everybody. Figured I'd update everybody. I think I'm going to stop right here for the weekend. I've been busy. I put some long tube headers on it. Fit quite nicely. I've been doing all the wiring here. All the main body wiring we got here. So we got 2 battery positive wires and a keyed ignition wire and my starter wire, which are the only wires I think I'm going to use out of this block down here. The rest is all body lights, wiper motor up here, and then the rest of it was all dummy light wires for coolant light, oil light, and stupid stuff like that. But I've wired up my FiTech system. I did that as well. I just ran the wires. I haven't tied them up or nothing. I'm going to tie them up on the firewall back here, make it look all a little bit neater, get it away from the engine and stuff. We got the main harness, trans connector, I've got O2 connector for the driver's side. I put my accessory bracket back on for the power steering. Fucking clears just perfect. Doesn't hit the box. This is the truck one. One thing I did find out is that this right here hits the alternator on the truck bracket that the alternator goes here. So I'm gonna have to figure out I think banjo fittings on the front of these fuel rails that come straight out of the fuel rail instead of this long elongated 90 that they got here. It comes out like 1.5 inches from the rail. So take that off and then take this connector here. I think they said it was a 6 ORB to a -6, which is this fitting here. I think I'm just going to look for some 6 ORB banjo fittings and then run this same kind of line with banjo fittings. That way I cut, that much out, which should clear the alternator after that. It doesn't hit the throttle position, which is good. The alternator clears that and the idle air control. But I got all that hooked up. Got my injectors hooked up. My coil wires are the coil control here from the FiTech unit is just sitting here. I got them sitting there waiting to put the coils on. I wanted to tidy up the wiring. And then we got a battery positive up here that goes down to the starter, and then we have the crank sensor that goes down there as well. It's actually hooked up down there. You can kind of see the little tag from it. And of course this beautiful long tube header. Let's see if we can get that in there. By Hooker, Blackheart series. Over here we have fuse block from FiTech, courtesy of FiTech here. And their little fuse block that they have. I think I'm going to mount that here on this panel here. And I think I'm going to mount the FiTech computer where it's sitting right now. And then these wires, these 2 looms, I have a grommet on there already. I think I'm going to drill a hole here in the firewall because these are for my gauges and the FiTech controller. There's the controller inputs right there, or outputs right there, and inputs, I guess. But I think I'm going to run those in here on the passenger side and then run them along underneath the dash to my gauges, which I've been working on as well. But I got the liners in there now. And then we got these 2 wires here. Well, the green is fan. The red one is keyed ignition, which I was going to just hook up to my old distributor wire, because that's a keyed ignition wire that's on when cranking. So, and then we got a ground. And then the battery positive for the whole system I was just going to hook up to the starter, just like any old system would, and then I have to run my battery cable from the battery here to the starter and to the alternator somehow. I'll figure that out. That'll be later. But I wanted to go underneath here. Here's some battery positive wires for the FiTech system I was talking about. I have a 4L80 under here. It's mounted up with my new cross member. I got a vent hose here. Got a urethane mount on it. That's my modified turbo. Well, it could be turbo 400 cross member that I modified. But we got vehicle speed sensor plugged in up there. That's the transmission control from the FiTech system. I still have to tuck these wires up, make them all nice and neat. I was just plugging them in, getting it ready. And I'll tuck them all in, zip tie them back, get them clear. But the long tubes fit perfect. Shout out to fucking Hooker headers, man. You did it right. These bad boys went right in, cleared everything. In the past, I've had trouble getting headers to fit around that right there on the passenger side where the lower control arm goes in, right here. I've always had headers hit this or the frame up here. Well, let's see if I can get a good angle here. These headers go completely around all that. It's freaking awesome. And I had to cut a tab off the transmission. You can kind of see it. There was a casting tab up here that stuck out real far, and I had to cut it out. But that's all I had to do. I had to cut that one side. And then this manifold dropped right in from the top. This one over here, we had to go in from the bottom, but no trimming necessary. It just went right in. Had someone up top holding it while I leveled it out. They started the bolts, and they just went right in. And they have O2 sensor bungs. So I'm going to plug the O2 sensor from the FiTech system right into them. The oil pan hangs down a little bit. Not too much further than the headers though, or the trans. So, and this is the lower cross member here. So I guess it's down a little bit, but it'll do. That's my 6.0 FiTech build so far. Got a lot done this weekend. Those headers and that wiring is huge. So I had to figure out my under hood wiring, what I was going to use and what I wouldn't, what circuits to cut out. But it's looking good so far. More updates soon. Here this week I'm going to get my fuel tank. I'll put an Aeromotive fuel tank in the back of it with an Aeromotive pump. I'm going to run all the fuel lines and get my regulator. And then we'll be about ready for fire up after that. But give it a couple more weeks. We'll get there, and I'll get back to it. Thanks for watching, everybody.